Hello, welcome back to Scale Modeling Cafe. Welcome to part one of a much requested video. It is the start of the Laminar Flow Design Spitfire Mark 14 projects. Right, little bit of a different format this time. Normally this would be a standalone video, part one, introducing the subject. I filmed it, I lost the footage somehow. And when I went to edit it the other day, I realised that it had gone. Therefore, I'm filming this at the end of the project, a bit like I did with the JP. So both are just down here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and remember what I said in the part one. I'm not going to, do a massive video. Maximum of 5 minutes for this intro bit, and then we'll get on with the stuff that you really want to see, which is the modelling, and that is the cockpit in this case. Some of the extras I've used in both these projects are, I've got the, not only is it the Eduard Spitfire, so Mark 8 for the Razorback and the Mark 16 for the bubble top, I've got the Laminar Flow Design, all three cages. That is the actual Mark 14 conversion itself. There's an E-wing conversion, which is a separate set, and there's also a cockpit set. So, cockpit set is absolutely amazing, as you'll see. The throttle, the various missing bits, such as the priming pump, that's all there. The waffle things, waffle guards, they're all there. Absolutely superb detail. To go with that, I've also got the Barracuda Studios detail set. That also adds a lot of the missing detail in the cockpit. I've used some AIMS flexible resin oxygen hoses, some photo etch in there, harnesses. I used the Barracuda seat in the bubble top, but I went for the kit seat and the etch seat belts in the Razorback just to mix it up a bit because I wanted to do something a little bit different. Both cockpits have got a lot of wiring added to them, as you'll see. The Razorback a lot more. Then externally, I've used master barrels. I've used Rob Taurus vac form canopy, which didn't really work on the bubble top, if I'm honest. My fault, just trying to cut it cleanly. It wasn't up to the standard that I wanted, so I ended up using the kit set, and actually it worked fine. But the Rob Taurus vac form canopy on the Razorback version does a brilliant job, because the kit version is just too bulbous, too thick, too big, and looks a bit weird. It kind of looks sort of plonked on, and yeah, it doesn't really gel, as it were. Like lovely closed, but open. They've obviously had to mold it a little bit bigger, a bit thicker. Not thicker, but a bit bigger, and it just looks a little bit too big, if you know what I mean. So that just looks absolutely fantastic. And for extras, that's about it. Now, markings wise, I really couldn't decide right up until almost I started painting. I wanted at least one of them to be Southeast Asia camouflage. I also decided to do the green and brown one over medium sea grey because I thought that was a little bit different. The other one was definitely going to be an ocean grey. I thought about actually doing a Mark 18 rather than the Mark 14, but actually the more research I did, I actually kind of like the idea of doing a clip wing version in the bubble top. I didn't really want to do a clip wing version originally because I think it kind of spoils the lines, the graceful lines of the Spitfire, but with that nose, just like the Mark 12, I think actually it suits it. It's more so in the bubble top, because I think we're just so used to seeing the Razorback shape. But the bubble top actually I think suits a clip wing. So I went for a Belgian option in the end, in a bit of a homage to Matthew, who is the manufacturer of Laminar Flow Design. He's from Belgium. So I thought I'd kind of honour him and thank him in a way for producing these beautiful sets. Now, one of my viewers has already commented that he thinks that it's easier to convert the Airfix Spitfire PR19. I wholeheartedly disagree. These sets from Laminar Flow Designs, as you will see in the next part, in part 2, when I do the construction, actually fit really well. It's all the cut lines are along panel lines, and it's actually really quite straightforward. And if you're going to do an earlier one with the C-wing, for example, for the Razorback one, that's even easier. You don't even have to touch the wings at all. It's literally just the nose and the tail, and a bit of rescribing and filling hatches and things on the fuselage, and that's it. And they fit superbly well. They really do. As long as you know, you've got to take care, obviously, but they fit really, really well. Starting with a PR19 and trying to make a 14 out of it, it will work, but there's an awful lot to do, and the refinement of the Eduard kit and the Laminar Flow Design kit, the Airfix kit. I love Airfix to bits. Don't get me wrong. It's not in the same league by any stretch. Anyway, that's enough waffle. Let's go and start with the cockpit then, and the projects, and we'll see how I get on with the 2 Laminar Flow Designs conversions, Mark 14s. All right, over to the bench. Okay, here we are at the bench, and the first of the Laminar Flow Designs resin correction parts, or conversion parts I should say, and that is these waffle board things. I don't know exactly what they do, what their purpose is. I think they're there to protect something, stop the pilot kicking some bit of equipment maybe, or some sort of wiring guard or something. Anyway, they just glue into place. Obviously you've got to use super glue, or at least you can't use plastic cement. They just go in, one on either side. Bit of a faff, as you can see, but they go in. Jumping ahead now, and there's a lot of painting and weathering gone on here, and you can see I've added some extra wiring. Just in the top left is the Laminar Flow Designs undercarriage part and the the priming pump. Now, one of the reasons why I haven't videoed this in detail is because I've already done it multiple times. Best videos to see are the Eduard Spitfire Mark V ones I did. So I did 2 of those in Malta schemes. It's pretty much very similar, if not identical technique. So you can I've drilled out all the lightning holes in the cockpit. I think this makes a massive difference. These Eduard Spitfires, just limitations in moulding technology. You can get the resin replacement, the brass inset. I've used it. I think it's quite difficult, but you know, do our best. Right, that's the Barracuda Studios control column. That's really, really good. This is the kick seat, and that just slots on over the top. And I've used some of the Eduard Photo Etch seat belts, late war Spitfires. Doesn't look like the Sutton harness with the kind of the Y-shaped thing, so they obviously dispense with that eventually. And this modular design's really good, actually. Everything fits really quite nicely. You'll see there I'm going to scrape away some paint. A good idea to do this. Tolerances are quite tight, and it will just help with everything. And not forgetting to scrape the paint away on the other parts as well. And not only is that going to improve the fit and the tolerance, it's going to help the glue to do its job. Feeding through the etched seatbelt in the little slot in the head armour. can just glue that into place. Now that photo etch is quite springy, so you may want to just kind of push it down a bit, and that will help with the natural look of it as well in the drape. But there we go, you see how busy all that extra wiring looks. Now unfortunately, looking into the cockpit, you're not going to see much of that. This is the Laminar Flow Design's instrument panel, so I've used some of the airscale instruments, and you can see that looks really good. Now I would highly recommend using the Laminar Flow Design's instrument panel because it will nicely fit into the nose conversion. The plastic is a little bit bigger, so if you don't have the cockpit set, you are going to have to sand down the instrument panel, not much but a bit. And in the other kit I did actually use the photo etch instrument panel, and I did have to sand it down just a little bit just to make sure it fitted okay. I'm just offering up the parts to the sidewall. You can see all the extra detail on the sidewall, some of the Barracuda Studios extra, and we'll just check that nose to see if it fits, and it fits really nicely. Now we can glue the cockpit in. So this is the resin type glue from Tamiya. We'll splurge that on, and then we'll stick the and we'll just back that up with a little bit of the extra thin glue from Ammo. Love that brush, really gets the glue where you need it to go. And we'll just clamp that into place because it did deform ever so slightly with those. And there we go, we'll just let that dry, and that is pretty much the cockpit complete. So I'll leave you with some high-res pictures ready for the next part, which is going to be the airframe construction. So I'll see you then.